Hi there. I'm titling this Silent No More. So you're gonna go through some history. And I'm upset, but I've calmed down so I don't sound upset anymore. But I decided, I can't be quiet anymore. So I'm going to talk about selective moral disengagement. And I'm going to read this. It's a psychological process that allows human beings to act in morally reprehensible ways and then justify those unethical behaviors or actions without feeling guilt or moral responsibility for those who have suffered at our hands. Think of any war you care to, or any harm that we human beings inflict on others for which we later then find justification, and you will observe selective moral disengagement at work. This process is always necessary where we find the needs of one ethnic group not only subjugated but oppressed by another, more often powerful group. All right? So it's selective moral disengagement, and there's justifications for re just awful, ungodly, unethical behaviors from one culture to another, right? With excuses as to why they can do what they do. And one group oppresses another group, and usually one group is more powerful. So let's get some history here. We have, oh, the Holocaust. What do you think happened during the Holocaust? Do you think there was social moral disengagement? If anyone knows any of the history about the Holocaust, you know that there were, you know, Jews that lived in Europe very peacefully with the other Europeans, like the Italian Jews. They were Italian. They didn't see themselves as a subculture within a culture. They grew up next to people. Well, so the Germans started rounding up. There was the war, and they started doing utter atrocities. People in Germany, they have apologized for what they've done, and they've tried to work through it, which is really good. Um, People in Germany, a lot of the guards and these sort of things, they knew what was going on. They were doing it, right? So they were, whoops, wrong one, selective moral disengaging, right? So, and, lots of Jews were killed. Some escaped. What happened? You had a powerful group of people against a less powerful group of people. They justified their actions and behaviors, and everybody watched. So, what happened? It happened before in the Roman time period. The same thing happened. You had you had Jews turning against Christian Jews, and the population cheering off the murder and the incomprehensible killing in the Colosseums of the Christians. Okay? Social moral disengagement. Then you have Gaza and the West Bank. You have people rah, 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 justifying the killings and destruction inside Gaza of hundreds and thousands of people. And you have Christians, actually, and the Zionist Jews justifying the unequal power of oppression of another group. That's point blank what it is. For the life of me, I don't understand how any Christian pastor or believer would say that the people that lived here deserve this stuff. Okay? Now, I lived in the area, worked with these people for a very, very long time. I wrote documents, I did assessments. Here's one of the assessments I did. These are my images. I was there. Okay, let me go on. Look, nice little olive tree. And this is all what we wrote during the assessment. I'm not going to read any of it, right? This is Hebron. So there were lots of closures. You're talking about what happened to the Palestinians. You're talking for 70 years and longer. The Israelis went, destroyed the roads, divided up Hebron, and in order to survive and bring things in and out of parts of Hebron, because there were settlements built there, they had to use their donkeys. They used donkeys also in Gaza. Thank God for donkeys, right? Now, I have here, there's more images. This was some of my work just to prove to you that I was there. Okay, now let's see if I can find. Where's the other one? Here. Okay, this is Hebron. This shows you settlements, checkpoints, watch-out towers, schools. Okay, this is in the West Bank. All right, we have here just a number. The latest death toll stands at 44,970 Palestinians and 1,139 people killed in Israel since October 7th. All right. So then you have here statistics. Since 1948, approximately, which I think it's more than this number, was 134,000 Palestinians and Arab has been killed, both inside and outside. Palestine, they do call it Palestine. Everyone makes fun of it, but it was called Palestine in 1948, and there were boundaries and maps. Let me get back to where the maps were, if I can find it again. I don't know where I had the maps, so bear with me. This one. Okay. There's a lot of maps, right? So these are all settlements. Here's a map of the Gaza before the disengagement, they call it. So before the disengagement, I don't want to get into it, but I'm just go to Bet Salem. This is an Israeli information center for human rights in the occupied territories. It's both in Hebrew and Arabic. They work together. There are a lot of people, Israelis, that are against what's going on, and they have been for a long time. All right. We have here East Jerusalem and human rights violations, Amnesty International. They are there on the ground and they report on the ground things that have been going on. Israel has been forcing thousands of Palestinians off their land, occupying and illegally using it to create settlements that exclusively house Jewish Israeli settlers. And it's really true. They shoot from the settlements. Look at this. 600,000 plus settlers living on Palestinian land. 100,000 hectares, or almost like acres, of land taken. 50,000 homes and structures demolished. 4.9 million Palestinians facing daily restrictions on their movement. It's a land grab. And the Christians are engaging in selective moral disengagement. But if you're a Christian, don't you know better? I can't understand. And when I talk to other believers, people yell at me. They literally like almost spit on me, Christians, believers, because this is unjust. It's not right what Israel has been doing. And it intensified after, you know, and I would tell these people, look it up. Like, I was there. Why don't you believe me? I was there. Here's some images. I was there. Okay? You get it? I was there. This is my work. Plus that other document. Okay? So, people that I know, I can't talk to anybody about it. I don't know what's going on here. And it really concerns me because there is going on this selective moral disengagement to justify the atrocities that we are doing, paying and funding and rah-rah-rahing Israel and getting all upset when the Israeli kids can't go to school for a day. What do you mean the Israeli kids can't go to school for a day? Look at this. This is Gaza. I don't understand. There's no moral ground here. There's no justification for this. Biblically, like I did another video, you can search for it. I did another video where the Bible says we are supposed to take care of the widows and the orphans and be at peace with our neighbors. Not we're the New Testament here. We're not in the Old Testament trying to occupy and find land and conquer. No, they've already conquered and they're still trying to conquer, and they're the oppressor, the who has been oppressed becomes the oppressor. Who has been oppressed becomes the oppressor. So where am I going with all of this? Where I'm going with all of this is that I'm concerned about the persecution of the Christians that has occurred in the past during the Roman time period will be similar to the last days, which I feel like we are in because a lot of things are bubbling. And so what happened then? You had the Jews and the Romans against the Christian believers, blaming the Christian believers for the distraught and the burning of Rome, deciding to kill them and mutilate them, right? Okay? So what I'm concerned about is that in these days, same thing's going to happen. Okay, we're going to end up having what we call selective moral disengagement to justify the murdering and killing of Christians. But who went against the Jews? Went against the Jews because they became Christians. They believed that Jesus was the Messiah. So it was their own people turning them in and turning against them. And this is what I'm concerned about today, right? Is our own people turning against us. Our own people turning against us. Does this make sense? They will justify the killing of believers because we hold to the truth. There's already division. There's already division between those who see, whose eyes are open against these atrocities, and whose eyes are closed. So I'm concerned. This is a leading pathway to the persecution of Christians. Now I have in here, where can I find it? Here. This is a map by opendoors.org. And this is a current map where where Christianity is being persecuted. Okay, so we have them by numbers, like India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. We know these: Saudi Arabia, Iran, Yemen, Sudan, Libya, Nigeria. Now it's really interesting, we have others, Congo, high levels. Okay, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Turkey, okay, Algeria. All of these countries are high levels, okay, are very high levels. And then they don't have anything in the orange. So I don't understand this map very well, because there are more than 365 million Christians suffer high levels of persecution and discrimination for their faith. 1 in 7 Christians are persecuted worldwide. 1 in 5 are persecuted in Africa. 2 in 5 are persecuted in Asia. 4,998 Christians were killed for their faith-related reasons last year, but view latest trends. Let's see. In brief. Now, it's interesting. I mean, this is a lot of people. It's already happening. Okay, look at these numbers. 295,120 Christians displaced in China. Trends. So the thing is that when you watch television, all right, in the developed world, they're always making fun of Christians and Jesus. That's not even included in here. But what I'm experiencing is persecution because I'm not going with the flow. I'm going against the trend. I don't think that what is happening is just. This is no joke. So I pray that these people, these Christians, that God forgive these Christians for wanting to fund and laugh and justify this type of behavior. It is wrong. It is morally unjust.